This is Susan Wilbanks with blendedinsight.com. I am a holistic and integrative healing arts practitioner, an intuitive, and an energy healer. In this podcast, I share tips, tools, and suggestions that have helped me along my path in hopes of inspiring and helping you along yours. Let's get started with today's podcast topic. Hello, bright and beautiful soul. Thank you so much for joining me on another podcast. And I wanted to make this podcast today to talk about ways to keep yourself going during seasons that aren't so appealing for you. And for me, we're in the winter months right now, and a lot of us are. And during the winter, when it's dark really early, I wake up and it's dark. When I get off work, shortly after, it's dark and it's cold. So in those times, seasonally, that's the time when you slow down. This can also be applied to the holiday season or a time in your life where it's hard for you. And I wanted to talk about ways that I keep myself going during these times, because the time is going to pass. If we only do things when we are feeling like it, then we aren't consistent. So you have to take action and then the feelings follow. This is the way that I've always operated my life. And I'm not saying that it's easy, but during the winter months, my schedule stays the same. I do not slack off going to the gym or doing things in the winter months. I do allow myself more rest because that is seasonally what our bodies are designed to do. It's dark a lot sooner. It's darker longer. And so it's not likely that we're going to be outside moving as much as we would in the winter months. Prime example, a couple of weeks ago, I don't really watch the weather. I don't pay a lot of attention to the weather. I started looking more just to see when we're going to get snowstorms and stuff like that so that I can adjust my schedule, because I don't want to drive on the roads if it's icy or if things are closed, so things like that. So I'm leaving for the gym and the roads are so icy, so I had to go really slow. And then it just starts dumping snow, and I did not know it was supposed to snow. And I just had on a lightweight jacket and my workout clothes. And I get to the gym and it is crazy snowing. So I'm walking in the gym and I had a hoodie on my jacket. So I put the hoodie on and then I'm standing in the foyer dusting myself off and stomping my feet to get the snow off my shoes. And I see my gym crush watching me. He has a big smile on his face. And I'm like, well, there's my motivation. See, now that's why I came to the gym. And I go back to our gym crushes. Oh my goodness. And my gym crush has adjusted his schedule. So he's there even earlier now. And he's been my gym crush since I've been going to that gym. So it's interesting. I don't know what happened with him because I don't ever talk to him. He just gives me a head nod occasionally. I'm smiling at each other. I'm giving him the opportunity to say hi to me, but we've talked about this anyway. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, it was funny. I was laughing at myself because it was a little silly because I wasn't paying attention to the snow. In any case, I go check in at the front and I was talking to the person at the front about the snow, and he's like, I think it's going to be done by the time you leave. Anyway, so I get my routine done, and when I'm leaving, of course my car is covered, but it's okay. The point is I didn't let the weather slow me down. Even if I knew it was going to snow, I'm still going to go. I'm still going to go to the gym, and it's doing those things anyway. And the beautiful thing about it is all of the regular people at my gym, they're still there. There wasn't any less people at the gym. And for me, that's a community. It's a motivator. I mean, having a gym crush doesn't hurt. And my gym crush has motivated me to go earlier because my gym started getting crowded later in the day or in the morning. We always go in the morning. In fact, one day I went on a holiday and my gym crush was there on a holiday. I'm like, we're the same person, me and this guy. And I don't even know what he drives or anything. A friend of mine is like, what kind of car does he drive? I said, I don't know, because when I'm getting there, he leaves right after I get there because he's adjusted his schedule. So I'm only there with him about 30 minutes. Fast forward a few months before, I would be walking on the treadmill next to him because I walk after I lift, and we had more time, but now it's stretched. And I think he injured himself because he wasn't there for a week. This isn't a podcast about my gym crush. In any case, my schedule is set, and I'm not going to stop doing the things to take care of myself just because it's cold and I don't feel like it. But this is where you kick into your discipline. Discipline has to override your feelings. If you're motivated by your feelings, you will not get things done. So feelings are valid, but they don't control you. You are not the body. You are the soul. The soul is in command of the body and the feelings, the thoughts, and the emotions. So this is when your spiritual practice and your discipline says, wait a minute, I understand I don't feel like it. So what? I got to do it anyway. I'm a grown up. There's things I have to do. And, I don't want to be a lazy, undisciplined person because I know that doing that, for one, I don't feel good. So if I do that, then I'm not going to feel good. I'm going to be regretful that I didn't get in there and get those things done. And also, consistency is what produces results. And that's with everything, with your meditation practice, with caring for your body, with how you eat, with how you treat people. In every aspect of your life, it's consistency over time. So we cannot be motivated by our feelings. The other thing is, in the winter months especially, I've started getting in the sauna again. It makes me feel better. It warms up my body. I do red light therapy. I've been doing red light therapy for a long time. I took a little bit of a break just because of my time, but I've now carved out more time in the morning to red light. So I'm doing that. In the winter months, I do this year round, but I think it's particularly important in the winter months. Bump up your vitamin D. So we tend to get less of that in the winter months. Even though I live in Colorado where we get a lot of sun, I'm not usually out in the sun that much. I work inside. In the winter months, I don't typically walk outside or stroll around. And so I get my vitamin D levels checked anyway, about every 2 months right now. So my vitamin D levels are in optimal range. So that's really important. The other thing I do is I use full spectrum light bulbs. I have one in my office lamp, and they mimic natural sunlight, so I feel better. Sun lamps are great in the winter. And frankly, this holiday season has been really weird for me. My daughter is off in college. She's adjusting to that. And although she's coming home a lot, there's a lot more space in my life than there used to be. But there might be physical space, but I'm still processing a lot of emotional things with my family shifting, with my dad not being here. This is my first holiday season where the shock has worn off of his passing, of my aunt's passing, of my mother going to a home that all happened in the same year. And in the same year, my daughter graduated and went off to college, all in the same year. So it's a lot at once. And I had to shift everything around it. I had stuff going on at work. And I shared this in a previous podcast about someone I work with for a long time, revealing a very ugly, vindictive side of herself. And unfortunately, she's in a leadership position. And so it caused me to have to shift things a little bit. Like the veil has been lifted a lot for all of us. We're seeing sides of people that we didn't know was there. And I feel like things are revealed for our own protection and for transformation. So until I know what to do with it, I just step back. And so I've been in a process of stepping back a lot in my life and having a lot of time to just sit and process and take really good care of myself. So the important thing is to find those things that support and take care of you while continuing to move forward. Because for me, if I'm not doing the things that make me feel good and support me, supportive practices, if I'm not keeping going and keeping myself moving, then I don't feel good. And I know I said that earlier, but I want to say that again because we still have to participate in this game called life. And you're here to participate. That is why you are here. You are here because there is a mission. There's something the world needs that you have. There's a gift that you have that you came to contribute. And it is okay to take care of yourself and pull back a little bit. I've definitely done that over the past year. And at the same time, I'm still doing my Arhatic yoga practices now, doing my meditations. I'm still creating content. I'm still connecting with my beautiful, wonderful clients. I'm still blessing all of those that send donations. And I think about you. I think about you on my meditation, and I send blessings out to my whole community. I'm still being a friend. I'm still being a mother. I'm still being a niece, all the things that I am in my life. Maybe I'm not as present, or maybe I'm not as available as I was at one time, but that withdrawal is part of my healing practice. So it isn't like I'm not doing anything. I'm in the process of preparing myself for whatever's next. And I will also say, and I've had this conversation a lot, so you may be feeling this way too, is that there has been this space where I feel like something is coming but I'm not quite sure what it is. And because of that, I'm not real eager to make ambitious plans right now. I described it as a lull that I feel. And part of that is because I'm healing and I'm regrouping what does life look like now. And also having to take care of my physical body and my emotional health and my spiritual health and all these things. Because I did go to another level in my spiritual practice. And with that comes a lot of cleansing and inner work and purification and all of that. So there's an element where I feel like, okay, let me continue with my practices that support me. Let me create a little bit of space so that I can hear my messages. And also, let me just take it one day at a time, one step in front of the other, because as we know, seasons change and this is going to pass. And I can look back on times in my life where I was devastated, and I can look back now and see where a transformation occurred that made me a better person. But when I was in it, I just wanted it to stop and I just wanted to get through it. But now looking back, I can put those pieces together. It's the hindsight thing. And so I wanted to say to you, a few years from now, there will be an element of you looking back and in hindsight and saying, okay, I took really good care of myself at that time. I did the very best I could. And I can see now what that was about, or what I got from that, or what I learned from that. Or now I see how strong I was that I got through that. All of those things will be in hindsight. So while you're in it, one step in front of the other, take care of your physical body, your emotional body, your spiritual body, all those things. Breath work helps tremendously. I know I mentioned that a lot. In Hatha Yoga, we learned some new breath work practices that I've been implementing and doing every day. It's part of the purification process and cleaning out my energy centers. And then I still go back to my tried and true breath work that I've been doing for, oh my gosh, I don't even know how long, maybe 15 years now. It gives me a space to clear my mind. And our minds can get really cluttered when we feel like we have so much to do, but we don't feel like doing it. And that's when you write everything down on a piece of paper, because it's wood, it grounds the energy, get it out of your mind, and then give yourself deadlines of when to get those things done. So I will make it, like if I have a bunch of stuff I need to get done that I keep reminding myself and internally driving myself nuts, I write it down and then I say, okay, I'm going to get these 2 things done this week. And I write it down and I have it on a sticky note and I commit to myself that I'm going to get those 2 things done. It works. And then I cross it off. And then I will make another deal with myself of when I'm going to get the other things done. And I prioritize. And so that is another thing that can really help. But hey, before you know it, this season will be past. A new season will be here and time keeps on tracking and we keep moving forward. And so that's really all I wanted to share with you today. And we can go into a healing. And you can uncross your arms and legs and focus on your breathing. And I will turn the energy healing on. Okay, and so it is. You can start coming back into your body. Friends, we are almost through 2022, and I'm so glad that you've been here with me as we go through this weird time in history. We've done it together, and I really, really appreciate you. And I just want to wish you a beautiful week. Take care. Bye-bye.